Vikings and Bears. That's what's happening. I was really hoping to see how long we could just go in silence staring at each other.
The Bears suck. And the Vikings are actually pretty damn good.
That's definitely like the best way.
Call it. So, yeah. No, I'm just joking.
I came really close to doing it. Just posting like a 40-second video of just that's it. um,
The Bears aren't that bad, but they're not good. And the Vikings needed to win this game. It's a division game. You need to win against a team that's not as good as you,
yeah,
and they did.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's definitely a few key points that came on here. For instance, the biggest one, Matt Forte, he's out, and
yeah,
now when he got the knee injury, I kind of expected he was going to be out for the season. The talk is he could be gone for about 2 weeks. Now, is that 2 to 4 weeks? Is that 2 to 6 weeks? I think definitely Bears fans are hoping it's only 2 weeks. Fantasy football play or teams are hoping it's only 2 weeks if you have them. Uh,
right.
there's definitely,
All season if you don't.
well, yeah. um, there's definitely kind of a mixture of all of that, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see because there's really been no clear cut, decisive regimen of how long he's actually going to be out for. And that could be just
Right.
clearly just they don't 100% know yet because I don't think they really know really the full extent of the injury and everything, and um,
Probably not.
yeah, and that's I think it's one of the most unfortunate because Matt Forte was definitely on pace of being one of the top running backs in the league this year.
He
And
was the high point of the Chicago Bears.
oh, definitely.
For sure.
And,
For sure.
and you know what? To expand a little more on Matt Forte is what was it back in week 4? I think he got put on the trading block,
Yeah, you're right.
and
That was bizarre.
no one's talking about it. And I actually looked it up earlier this week because I randomly thought of that, and I'm like, is he still on the trading block? And he is. And no one's even trying to claim for him. And so the question is, uh, kind of the thing that you said back when we talked about him being on the trading block is, was that some sort of a John Fox maneuver to put a fire under his ass and get him to, potentially play better?
Right.
I don't
I
know.
think it I think it was.
And the thing which is weird is because it's not like he's necessarily playing bad, but if he definitely wanted to stay in
He was
Chicago,
playing. He was playing really good.
yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, that's definitely something to say about Matt Forte because I think some players that would come, it's like, well, you're trading me anyway, so who cares if I play good or not? And this guy still played good, if not better than what he was.
Right.
And uh, it's unfortunate that he had to go out like that. And well, I mean, realistically, it's always unfortunate anybody who's going to get injured
Right.
in any type of high profile or when you're a big name on a team, just in any circumstance. And this is a guy who is definitely probably in the running at top 5, even top 3, running backs this year. And
Right. And that season is going to be pretty much forgotten because he didn't finish it. So
well, even if he's gone for 2 weeks, I'm just saying like his
it's
his
gonna
numbers
it's
are going to
gonna
just dramatically go down in season averages for everything, and
they're obviously expecting him to come back, or else they just put him on IR and called it.
yeah,
But 2 weeks might be overly optimistic. I don't know. I mean, it was a knee injury. I don't know how serious it is yet. and I don't know if it's come out. What I do know is the trade deadline was today, right?
Yes, it
So that's not
was.
happening.
Dating this
So
this
he's obviously
recording
going
a
to
little
win.
bit, but that's a very excellent point. I didn't even think about that whatsoever. The trade
He's
deadline's
he's
done.
he's a bear.
Right,
So
right. So at least Bears fans can rejoice a little bit about that. That whether it was some sort of a weird strategy or if it wasn't, that no one claimed him anyway. And which in a way is kind of weird because there's definitely been a few teams this year that probably could have used a good running back, and the fact that no one even tried for him is kind of surprising.
they were obviously asking for too much money, and if you ask me my opinion, I think they were intentionally probably asking for an unreasonable amount of money because they didn't have a real intention of trading him unless they were like, well, shit, if someone's willing to pay to make this trade, like
Yeah, either
okay,
that
but
or
they probably didn't. They probably weren't asking for a reasonable.
I think either that or they're looking for an unreasonable amount of draft picks
But yeah,
that no
that's
one
that's
wanted to
what I
give
mean.
up.
Money, draft picks, a player, whatever.
Yeah,
It was unreasonable trade as far as Farmer, if there was any talk at all. Um, a team that definitely didn't need a running back, the Vikings. Adrian Peterson maybe not having as great of a season as he's had in the past. Um, Still good, still great, still top 10, I think. But the Vikings looking damn good, damn good.
the Vikings are looking good, and
I can tell you don't want to hear about the Vikings.
well, no, that actually not.
You don't want to. Green Bay lost. And you're like, man, I don't want to hear this shit right now.
That's honestly not it, and especially because I was the one who thought the Vikings were going to do this good before the season started.
You know what? You're right. I thought I will eat crow here. I thought the Lions were actually going to be the number 2 in this division. But shit, there's no reason they're not. Shouldn't be good, right? Aren't they like the like I talked about? Who was it? Who are the Jets or who are whatever? I don't even remember what team it was now. But like, who are the Lions?
Yeah,
Like, what the hell is going on there?
I
I said it about 49ers. I'll say it about Detroit.
I
Fire, fire, fire
I thought
people.
the Lions were going to do much better this year, and I want to get too much into the Lions because that'll be in the Lions and Chiefs video anyway. But
Sure.
uh, I expected Vikings to be doing this well before the season even started. I
Yeah.
predicted this back in week one. If you want to go back and look at it, I predicted that they were going to do this, and so it's really no surprise to me. And I think that's why, like, when they win games, they'd be like, "Well, I figured they would." And to get a little more into like the game itself, Bridgewater, they're down by 7, and Bridgewater had a big fourth quarter comeback. You started finally targeting Stephon Diggs, who I kind of had a quiet game until the fourth quarter, realistically. And Bridgewater really got into this big rhythm and started bombing it downfield, whether it was Stephon Diggs or whomever else. And
Right.
he was just gaining massive, massive yards. Um, the question, I guess, for me is uh, Bridgewater is good. He's definitely good. Uh, there's no question about it. Now, his fourth quarter comeback, I think it's a little too early to maybe say that Bridgewater is going to be considered a clutch quarterback, considering that they're playing against the Bears.
Right. It was a clutch performance at the very least.
It definitely was, but I'm not gonna get into it like this big, like holy shit, this is the craziest, like whatever.
No, and then there's just not enough. There's not enough footage, honestly. Like there's just not enough games. The Vikings, since he's been there, haven't really played any high stakes football yet. Let's be honest. So
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point, and you know,
the,
I
the biggest takeaway to me is that he's able to lead this team, and Adrian Peterson isn't having to carry it anymore. And
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure if he still could carry the team like he used to. And so it's a good thing that they've got a few good years left, I think, with AP. and the Vikings are just they're looking good right now. If you're a Vikings fan, you got to feel pretty good about your team right now.
Yeah,
So that's your chance
I
to
think
win.
overall they won by 3 at the end of the day, but it was a divisional game, so I'm not gonna take that like as necessarily like a negative criticism towards the Vikings because it's a divisional game and they're also away, so that's also kind of a harder aspect for them as well. So they won the game and they're a game behind the Packers now. So they're definitely creeping up, and Packers need to really be on their toes because um, they definitely are going to have to just beat the Vikings this year. I mean, if there's going to be any game that they want to win in the division, it has to be the Vikings because they're trying to steal this division. And we discussed this in the Packer and Broncos video as well. Whether other people watch this or not, but I guess I'm just going to repeat it here that they're on their way to try to win the division,
Right?
and Packers need to look out because they have every good reason to potentially do it if they
Like
wanted to.
Vikings aren't selling for wild card.
Yeah.
They want division winning. Shit, they want a bye week if it's possible.
Uh
So
huh.
I mean, you never know. The NFC looks pretty wide open right now, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting second half of the season, especially in the NFC. Especially
Yeah. It.
because nothing looks set in stone for any division, really.
Yeah. Yeah. If we talked to 2 weeks ago, I could have told you, set in stone, so and so is going to win. This team is definitely taking the division. At week 8, not anymore. I don't think
I mean,
anything is.
Carolina and the Packers still have to be the favorites, I think,
Yeah.
and I still think it would be a hell of something crazy would have to happen for them to completely playoffs. But the Vikings are going to do their damn best to see if they can run the thinking of the first half of the season that the Packers are the number one seed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Right. I think that's the best way we can probably sum this all up. So to wrap it up, uh, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. There's links in the description below. Make sure to watch our mid-season assessment for our late call this week because we are going to definitely talk about all the goodies with all the players. I'm making very weird hand signals right now.
And remember to wrap it before you tap it.
Yes.